So have you ever seen like, or gotten a adjust where you're like, yeah, that's great, and then they leave and you're like,
yes.
right? That's what we want to avoid. So I touch, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2. Because there's something going on here. Either her knees or her ankles, or she doesn't know the pose. One of those three. Either one of those three, I'm not going to force her down. What I can do is I can bring a hand here and kind of help her melt her shoulders. So this hand is just a hand. There's no pressure there. This hand is like, it's okay, relax, without saying those words. Right? And you'll see people whose butts are like way high with their head down though, still. Right? They still get that same little niceness here. Because everybody's holding it right here. But I'm not like, right?
Is this part of the palm rooting up? Because the shoulders are tight. So I'm going to take that same L part of my hand, push it on the part of his hand. And again, my joints are stacked, so shoulders over the wrists. And I say my verbal cue, press down more through your thumb and your pointer finger. And the weight of my hands is pressing more into the thumb and the pointer finger of his hand as I say it. You will see assists sometimes of like where people are actually manually opening the shoulders. Neither Raj or I really like that one. So you can do like soft, it's two piece fingers, soften your shoulders away from your ears. And then you're just giving them more like an energetic soften the shoulders. And then again, just like we talked about, I get in a horse stance, I'm going to hook my hands on his hips, and then I'm sending him back. Like Raj, I think it was called a rocket ship. And I'm going to straighten my legs and use my body weight to lengthen him up and then back. Another way, and we'll show you guys this one. And this is a different one that I sometimes don't like to do because I don't quite know that I'm not the height differential is the best until I'm in it, and then I'm like, oh god. So you can hook your hands, you hook his hip bones, but look where my face is. So it could be uncomfortable. But you know, you have your right intention. I find horse and I lean back and I again use my body weight to lengthen him up and back. Lead, you know, subtly.
All right, so you want to make sure you have a solid base with the top hand here. We're grounding her tailbone. I have a slight bend to my knees. Joy has a slight bend to her knees too. So for this one, you can just take your other hand, just trace it down the back, do a nice little neck massage. And trace back up the spine. Make sure this hand is still anchored, and then you use your pressure to leave the 1 to 5 to 1. And then, how'd that feel, Joy?
Great.
Good. Awesome. So it can be really easy, like we were talking about first in child's pose, I'm gonna slam on your sacrum just to go like, here we go. And that's not gonna be comfortable for her at all. There's also the case where we can be too far up, and this is going to end up pushing her over one way or the other. And that's not gonna be very comfortable for her. It gives me a little bit of like, oh my gosh, what's going on with the instability? So you want to make sure you're resting right on the sacrum, which is what Raj was talking about earlier. And if you go too far back, we all know where that's going, the dangers.
Most people that we're going to be able to give a lot, right? It's kind of like that down dog adjust. It's not me going like, come on, relax, right? It's me saying, hey, your shoulders might be more tense than you mean them to be. And then she'll relax on her own. Right? So that's the idea. And that goes true with all the adjusts. We're not giving them adjusts so that we're like, with me, you can do this. Right? We're giving them adjusts to show, hey, your body can do this. Like, this is the muscular action it needs. Maybe you're not there yet, but you're on your way. So for this one, it's just, hey, your shoulders are tight. You can also do the one where you kind of bring the palm to the crown of the head and they lift into it. If they don't, then it'll just be weird and they'll be like, why are you touching my head? Right? So people who've been to yoga a lot understand what this means. People who haven't, you do this and they'll turn around and be like, what am I supposed to do with that? Right?
But
So,
again, you're saying what you're doing.
yeah, relax your shoulders down. Rise from the crown of the head. Okay, let's go to mountain. So then we got mountain pose, pretty similar. But we can think of mountain pose like down dog. The tendency is that most people will do this,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so I'm like, just like a down dog, I'm like, relax the shoulders away. You can even do that down dog adjust where you spiral up and then come to the shoulders. Because if you do the shoulders and then do this, they're just going back into their shoulders. So there is an order of operations, right? That's all I would do.
And then just another thing, Raj didn't, but to speak to it, he's not grabbing Sophie here, here, or I'm just going to draw my hands towards each other. Because by drawing this towards each other, I help broaden his chest a little bit more. So exhale, forward fold. There's my forward fold adjustment. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. You could like stay with the student. Inhale, halfway lift. And if you're cueing, I've seen teachers, just keep going. I've seen this, and I've also seen teachers take another hand and do this, but this is my kind of go-to. Do you have another one for that?
I like that.
What?
I like what you I like that. Yeah.
So you could follow the student from the forward fold into the halfway lift than she normally would. And then you're here with her, and we call it, we say you're married to the person. So the pose, you stay married, you're cue, cue, cue. Deep breath in, exhale, forward fold. We release at the same time, and if I wanted to, I can do that or not. So again, let's keep this one like chaturanga, because it'll be up to you if you feel comfortable doing it. I personally feel a little bit weird. And no weird.
No depth if they're not in alignment. The first thing we want to look at is the front knee, right? So here's, again, one of those finger things. Now, here's, just like with the forward fold, your body placement is important. If I was over here, and I was like, that's weird. And even though it's not, essentially, it is. But here, not weird anymore, right? Even though I'm just as close, the same thing, it's just not as weird. So we always come from the back. Never face on the person and be like, adjust your arms like this. Right? So the knee is the first one, right? We're correcting the knee. Usually the second thing that we look at is the back foot. The tendency can be they point their foot this way. So we can cue, bring your foot parallel or slightly pigeon-toed to the back side of the mat, right? Bring your knee in line with your second and third toe. The third thing is usually this. People are like here and they're like there. So I can do both at the same time. I can lift, again, not from the joints, and then I can stack.
Press your knee more towards the thingy edge of the front foot. A lot of the time you'll see a collapse in, press down to the knife edge of the back foot. Some people don't know what knife edge of the back foot is. Press down to the pinky toe edge of the back foot. By doing this, you're going to bring more engagement to the back leg and protect the knee. Because when the knee collapses in, it puts some strain on the inside of your knee. Sorry, Raj. So we get more strength by rooting down to the knife edge of the back foot. This is an adjust you could stay with for Warrior 2. Cue Warrior 2, extended side angle, reverse Warrior, exhale chaturanga, and then remove your hand. A little bit more of a depth assist. So with this one, it's always confusing which way do I face. You're never adjusting your student, like Raj said, like in their face like that, but you want to be able to see him. Because if I'm doing this, and he's like grimacing, or I need to be able to know that. So I'm gonna take my left hip, so I'm facing that way, support his bottom hip. His arm is up. And there's two different things. I think does the book have like the pull on the arm? Mm-hmm. And it's not like I'm pulling him so his shoulder comes out of the socket. It's like lengthen up through your top arm or whatever your verbal cues are. And another option is press your top palm into the palm, and you can cue that as you speak to the whole room. Imagine your top hand was pressing into a wall or my palm. You could even say that. But I'm supporting his bottom hip. And again, just like Utkatasana, I'm married to him until he's out of it. Inhale, reverse warrior. I stay with him so I'm not just walking away. Sits bone underneath you.
Yeah.
Send your arms to
But
the
you
side.
can do that with the hand thing that you were just doing.
So I don't want to ever pull on his knee without creating the counter press with my other hand and stabilizing his hip. So if you're gonna come up to someone's knee, like unless it's like super gentle, like come a little deeper into your lunge and you do like something soft, but if you're gonna really put any, which you shouldn't put a lot of pressure on the knee anyways, having the stability of your hand and hip crease.
Goes kind of with those ones, everything that we've done. I actually like to come down to my knees for this one. First, I'm going to bring her back into alignment, right? I'm going to give her a little grip right underneath the, like, above the knee part to hold her right in place. I'm going to get my hand right above her rib, or below her rib cage, and then I'm going to lengthen up. Now, the problem with this one comes is that they think I'm pushing and they completely collapse the opposite side. So in some way, you have to cue that there's going to be length in that side. Sometimes I'll say, push into my hand, right? Sometimes I'll say, bring length to the right side of the body to the whole class. You can't say, push into my hand to the whole class.
The whole
right?
class runs over to you.
Yeah.
Sorry, just for
But, and you think when you first get to them, they're like, oh, they're helping me. And then a second in, they're like, oh my God, this is so much harder. So I flex my toes back. I get as low as I could get. So I really want to get to the sacrum. And then I just give them a little nudge up. And then I just sit there. Now it'll begin to dawn on you that a lot of the adjusts that we've been giving can be the same for a lot of different poses, right? From the waist up, what pose is Sophie in? Right. So we can use all those same things, right? So for the legs down, we're in a square hip expression. And so the tendency is that people aren't as engaged as Sophie, and they're kind of like this with their hips, not so much with their chest, right? So, and they're kind of loose there. So, right, you can say strengthen through your back leg, and literally touch their back leg and tell everybody else to do this. One of my favorite cues is draw your right hip crease back, bring your left hip forward. Now, I'm not doing this with Sophie, right? I'm literally taking a finger and saying this direction, and a finger and saying this direction with my fingers, right? From there, right, it's the same thing. Some people will touch the heel and say press into the heel. Again, I don't touch feet, so that's not for me. Activate this left leg. See how her left hip is dipping a little bit? So I'll lift the left hip, I'll activate the left leg. Finger, finger, right? That's all. From here, I like to think, roll the shoulders together. I don't even want her to open more. I want her chest to come through more. I don't care about her twisting open. If she gets that, that's great. But I want these shoulder blades articulated on the spine. So literally, my hands are like barely grazing her, right? And then that's all. So I need to do all those same things I did. I need her to have level hips, to have a strong leg, and then I bring my feet in close, and then I lock her leg in between my legs. Now, if my feet aren't in close, then I won't be able to lock. Like, she's not going anywhere. This lock is not going. And then we follow the breath. Inhale and exhale. Right? She can go all the way around. Right? So there we are. And then we exhale to runner's lunge. And then I release. Right? I don't release before, or else she's going to fall. Now, will you come back up a little bit? Back to that one. You can switch legs if you want. So if you're very tall, they're very short. This one actually can be better if you get both hips in it. Because then there's nowhere she's going. This is the runner's lunge adjust. Everybody look. Can you guys see it? Should I do it up? Someone in Warrior 2 on the right side. You adjust them in Warrior 2 on the left side. If you rub someone's shoulders in runner's lunge on the right side, you do not have to rub their shoulders in runner's lunge on the left side.
When I come up against Raj with my thigh against his hip.
Maybe a little less.
Oh, no.
So this is going to be similar to extended side angle, where the support of the hip and the palm have to come really at the same time.
And I like to use both my palms to help lift up. And I'm like, lift your hips. Lift your gaze if comfortable. Beautiful, Raj. Deep breath in. Exhale, mindfully release. And you can kind of like put the hand for a little support. Do you want to do another one on the other side?
No, that's fine.
I'm sure you mind, but I know you don't mind.
Oh, the foot? Sure.
Oh yeah. You're lifting in the
Do you
side
care if I
round.
touch you with my foot?
No, not where I'm clothed.
So, Raj, basically, he's not a huge fan of this one because you yourself have to have good balance, and you're going to look for someone who has like their hips dipping. Yeah. So grab him not by his joints, but by the fleshy part. Lift your hips. So I have stability under his hips with my foot, but I have to have really good balance. And then you say deep breath in, exhale, release. And you stay with him in the release.
Is this. And so you want to hips below shoulders, shoulders below the crown. So if we see this, you can see sit the butt low. I wouldn't say butt, but
I would
sit low. And then you can rotate towards the sky. I mean, it's a lot of verbal. This one, I just usually do hands on the hips. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's great too, and then you can add just a little bit, kind of the same as revolve crescent, right? I do like the hands on the hips. I tend to come from the side and just use a finger, and then use another finger right here. So again, I'm not opening your shoulder up. I'm just saying your shoulder can open, your butt can get lower.
You want to show the one that's the book?
Is it the seated one?
Yeah. One more like this too.
Yeah. So I really want Sophie to sit right here.
Smile in the mirror.
Yeah, did you like that? I was like, yeah. So in the book, if stars align and you can get them to sit mid-thigh, right? That's where we want them to be. And then it's same as revolve. But even here, her hip is moving up, so I'd rather stay like that and just hold her left hip at the right height. And she can twist on her own. Gorilla, so you're already here, and then you walk away and you say gorilla. So we've done something similar to gorilla, which is
Forward fold.
And what did I say about forward fold?
Guide your hands down.
Right, but what can happen?
Oh, tipping over.
Right. Do you think people will be frightened in gorilla if that is potentially going to happen? Yes. So gorilla is like done when you're very competent in the other ones, but it's the same idea, right? But their hands are trapped. If you push them forward, guess what happens? They hit their head. It's terrible. Don't do that. So give them some pressure. Most likely when you give a little bit pressure, they give you pressure, which is what you want. You give too much pressure, they bend their knees. That's not what you want. So there's that middle ground. And then same thing. Little niceness, little rub. That's all. One-on-one thing, so you can actually talk to your student because, right, everybody's kind of doing it on their own. So what I'll do is I'll come to their shoulders, I'll say, don't worry, I got you, bring your weight forward, and I'll even pull them a little bit. The hard part about this one is letting go, right? Because letting go, Sophie's got it, obviously, but they're really counting on you. So really that one's about them feeling what it's like, but still being held, right? So another one I do is I get lower, I get closer, and then I hug their elbows in. And then they can come into it on their own, and I'm not holding them up, I'm just holding their elbows in, but I'm pretty close to Sophie's head, if you know what I'm talking about. So I'm okay doing this one, but you might not feel as easy doing this one. But it is a great one. This one, people can press up the handstand from it. That's how great it is. Press up. One-legged crow. One-legged crow.
She's like,
I cannot.
Choose
Yeah.
no.
And with the first one that he showed, like Raj was doing it, but just reminding yourself to really have a good alignment, flat back, because if they don't know how much weight to give to you at first, or if they give you all their weight, you need to be able to catch them.
See how I even put my arms to my legs and I really have them. Okay, try that, and then we're done.